this recording. There we go. All right, I'm out. Okay. So, Santi, if you could share your screen. Oh, Jesus. If you could share your screen.
Do you want me to share the top?
That's on you.
I've been here for a while, but I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Sierra, originally from the US. I live in Colombia. Right? I run a publishing company. I help people write and publish impactful nonfiction. And I have a community of writers and authors that's just wonderful. So,
Amazing.
I love the initiative.
vivo en Medellín. Ya, estaba en Bucaramanga por 5 años y ahora 10 años en Medellín.
The best place, to be honest.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at that. How can anybody say no to that?
Yeah.
So
Beautiful. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. Can everyone see this? Perfect. So I want to start off asking you guys to get like your different.
Wait. My name is Yaya. All right, just want to introduce myself in case you didn't know. You can't see my name, so just wanted to make that clear. Nice to meet you all. All right.
What do you do?
I work in operations for Goosify, formerly known as Captivate. And yeah, that's why I'm taking part in teaching you guys how to operate. Santi, if you want to introduce yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I'm Santiago. And I don't operate for Goosify actually, but I have my own creators that I've operated for. Used to be an operator for language teacher creators, and more recently, I'm an operator for a wholesaler who has a community-owned school as well. And so we did our first big launch back at the end of January, and we're still growing that. And so yeah, I'm here to add in my 2 cents to this as well. So first, to go ahead and get started, there are many kinds of operators, and this is something that we'll go into. And so different people tend to have a different perspective on, what they believe an operator is. And so I'd love to hear a bit from you guys, like what is an operator for you, and what does that imply?
I'm not entirely sure, but I want to know. So that's why I'm here. I have some guesses. Managing behind the scenes, maybe.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. Hi. First of all, I'm Ian. I'm here to learn as well, and I think operator for me is a person who helps to grow community, helps with traffic, and communicates with people. Yeah, these things.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in? No?
Yeah, I'm guessing the person that basically does all the systems behind the scenes and is basically, the undercover guy behind every creator or big person out there. They all have, I'm guessing, like operators or people helping them do like all like the virtual assistant type of stuff.
Mhm. All right. So you want to start explaining, what's an operator from your side of things?
Yeah, well, an operator, like you said, well, actually, all of these are kind of the correct answer.
Yeah.
The operator is a very three-dimensional, four-dimensional character, if you will. There's so many different roles that it can fulfill. And at the same time of all of these being the right answer, there's also no right answer, because an operator changes from organization to organization, depending on whoever the creator is, what needs they have. The operator complements those needs.
Yeah, 100%.
That also leads into B. Why are they needed? Well, everybody's got their faults. Everybody's got 24 hours in a day. They can't do everything. So they need someone else. While they've got the vision, they've got the ideas, they've got the strategy on how to get to those ideas, they need someone to deal with the day-to-day operations. And so they hire the operator to be kind of the bad cop to their good cop. They need someone to complement those skills. For Goose in particular, I'll be the first to say that Goose is very fun. He loves his ideas. He loves doing really cool shit. And I like to keep us back on Earth and make sure that we can accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Yeah, 100%. Do you want to dive a little more into kind of what you're in charge of and what it is you do kind of on a day-to-day for Goose? And then I'll dive into like my side of things with my creator.
Yeah, pragmatic, 100%, Sierra. So day-to-day operations with Captivate Goosify. Sorry, I'm in mourning right now. I really miss that name. Day-to-day operations entails me doing a quick check-in, 30 minutes with the team. It's a call with all of us on it. And we have a project management software that we put in all our tasks. And I go through each of those tasks and just say, like, what's the progress on this? How did this go? What tasks do you want to add to this? How much time do you feel like you need left? I also set the deadlines and everything. And beyond that, beyond those check-ins, everyone reports to me, and then I report to Goose. So I act as a filter between all communication, just to make sure that Goose, another really big thing is that the operator saves the creator as much time as possible. That's what they're there for. So that's my biggest goal every day, is to save Goose as much time as possible. So whenever we ask you, and we're going to keep asking you, this is going to be a pop quiz. I want you to answer to the question, what does an operator do? It saves the creator as much time as possible. All right, to simplify it as much as possible. So make a note of that, put it in your brain, put it wherever you put your notes. Just keep it in mind, because we're going to keep asking, and we want you to know that. We want to drill it into your heads.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so as we mentioned, within every organization, or with every creator, you're gonna have different roles. The bouncer, you're gonna have different roles within that organization. Now, for example, Goose particularly, he's very creative, and so he does a lot of what is the front end of everything, getting that attention and so forth. But for example, with my creator, in my situation, it's not so much like that. He's not, he has a big business that he runs besides his communities and coaching programs. And so it's my job to essentially run the entire thing A to Z of like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing for content, for marketing in general, then making sure that the entire process of it being optimized for like conversions, being in charge of all of the launches and everything. And since we just started recently as well, I've currently been doing it all myself. And now as an operator, it's my job to go ahead and build us a team from zero, finding, people, which is what we're starting to do, and then putting in those systems in place for it to slowly become a bit more like a role as Yaya would have, where he's, managing the team, making sure that everyone's doing the things that they need to do so that everything's operating
I know, I keep doing that.
in the most efficient and optimal way possible. And so there's many little tasks that become involved into this that you might not think of like a task as an operator, but since right now there's no real team to manage, you kind of just jump in and help out wherever you can. And again, as Yaya said, saving the creator time, because he's a busy guy, especially running an entire separate business on besides all of this other new business in a way. And so really optimizing that, so he has to do as little as possible, just showing his face when he needs to show it, and then actual fulfillment of like showing up to the coaching calls and so forth is really, really essential and important.
Yeah. So going into kind of types of operators, we didn't really list out like a Myers-Briggs personality test for operators, but we can kind of do that. I feel like that's a cool idea. We might do that in the future. But kind of what we were discussing was, again, the type of operator you are depends on the type of creator you're working with. And so the best operators are the ones that can be adaptable around that. So try to think about, and we're going to go around and try to think about some of the skills that you have, even if you're new to school or business or anything like that. We've all got these either soft or hard skills that we are just slightly better than everyone else at for some reason. So let's start around the circle. I'm noticing some cameras turned off, so I want to make sure you guys are engaged. Sierra, why don't you go first because you're the first on my screen. What do you feel your skills are if you were going to be an operator?
I mean, I am my operator, right? I am the operator in my own community. I don't have anybody else like breathing life into it, engaging people, setting it up. And that's always how I like to do things, is I like to know how things work before I invite anybody else to do
Yes.
anything for me. You're nodding, and I don't always recommend it. Sometimes it's better just to be like, you know how to do this, go ahead and do this. I don't have to know how to do the thing. Like, if you can change a tire, go ahead and change a tire. But certainly in like the setup of a community feels like one set of skills, and it's really, really important. If the community is not set up well or optimized, then I'm sure being an operator is like driving a car without any oil in it or something. But the operator, there's so many moving pieces and it's community. I've been describing school to a lot of people like my house. Okay, it's not Facebook where I'm like bumping into people in the mall. I'm inviting people into my house. And so the operator of my community needs to make sure that it maintains that vibe. So that involves greeting people, welcoming people, engaging with people's comments, finding the random new person who put some job post in my community and there was enough going on that I didn't notice. And I'm like, thank you very much, bye. Like, she hasn't been kicked out, but she's been warned, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot. I care a lot, and I want to make sure my community stays that way. You can start a community, let everybody in, and just see what happens, like a social experiment, but that's not how I run anything. And so being disciplined, I think, is really helping. Like having just, here's the things that need to be that happen every day. These are the things that happen at this time of the day, if it needs to be that structured. But
So if you were to add an operator to
Yeah.
your community, what
Mhm.
specific things would you need them to be good at? Would it be marketing? Would it be managing the team, building up the team for you? What do you feel like you need?
That's great. And I love that because I had never considered the operator as somebody who would also help get people in there, help do other things. I've sort of been cordoning off different parts. And if somebody had a bigger role and then the school community is part of that, that makes a lot more sense than even how I was thinking about it. And so I like that a lot. I have been struggling with trying to move over like 1,300 people from an ongoing Facebook community that I'm like absolutely closing the doors, wiping my hands of. But like 7 people have moved over, and I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? What's happening? And so it'd be great to have somebody else do that and sort of know the bigger picture. What are we trying to do? And I have not been successful, not been wildly successful in getting people to move from the free into the paid. And so having that transition is also something that would be really helpful. The problem I always make for myself is I need to know how to do everything. And so that slows things down. Instead of having somebody who's getting everybody in there, having people move up, And the reality, if I'm the creator, but I'm also the operator, on some level, there's less reason for people to buy in because they still have access to me because I'm the person who's commenting. I'm the person who's engaging. And I get that the paid community is you get more access to me. So if you are getting access to me down here, then there's there's not the perceived value increase in like, so that's just an interesting piece that that ends up playing out. Yeah. I'd love to hear more about the role so that I can know if and when and who and how, but I'll stop talking.
No, you're okay. That was a great answer. That was a great way to answer that question. So, Kevin, you were the last one on my screen. I want to do you next, if you're here. Can we hear you?
I'll jump in. New to school, so still kind of learning the lingo and
Oh, good. I was planning on explaining it. I know you joined a little bit later, so wanted to catch you up. Basically, we're talking about operators. This is what you would consider the COO of like a large corporation. This is the guy, as we said, this is the guy or gal or person, sorry, that saves the creator as much time as possible. And that's what I was saying is like, that's the thing you want to remember and keep in mind as much as possible is what kind of operator you are dictates what the creator needs, what the creator really doesn't want to do, right? You want to save the creator time so that they can do the stuff that they want to do. So real quick, maybe a little introduction from you, like what are you planning to do at school? Do you want to be an operator or creator, etc.?
Yeah, first I've been approaching the creator like my own community idea with my coaching, but the operator idea, I've been a head of member experience role for over a year previously with an online coaching community that had like 3,000 members. And a variety of things that I did or coming up with ideas to implement for member retention. Turning down member churn, whether it was onboarding calls or just finding things to update in like a roadmap, onboarding and so forth. So yeah, that's something I've got experience with that I'll now keep my eyes and ears a little bit more open around school about, are they looking for an operator? What's that look like here?
Right. Yeah. Cool. Good answer. So what do you feel like you would be able to do moving forward? It sounded like retention was like your main skill set.
Retention, onboarding. What else could apply here? Hosting some of the group calls when the main creator isn't there. Yeah, so more the onboarding side of like new members. How do you get new members engaged within their first month or so, or when they would most likely churn before renewing or something? I've also helped out with like a higher level, like 60-day boot camp and doing member engagement experience in that type of structure and outreach. So something will apply here, but yeah, kind of the head of member experience title.
Gotcha. See, now what I'm trying to get at here, and you guys answered perfectly right into my trap, is that there are different types of operators, right? You guys have completely different sorts of skill sets, and Sierra is more the creator in this sense. But as you noticed, Sierra said more of a focus for an operator would be getting people in there, getting them ascended, more of the sales process. And Kevin was more of the retention, keeping people in there, making sure they're having a good time. And so that's what you're going to experience as you keep moving forward in your operator / creator journey, the types of operators you encounter with or the type that you become. And you're never stuck in one pigeonhole or another. You can always be flexible around that. And obviously, people need both. They need a sales type person to get people in there. And they also need people to make sure that they're fulfilling, that people are enjoying their time in their community. But it's about priority, and it's about what the creator does and doesn't want to do. So potential growth. Santi, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. This one's really interesting because, and this goes along with what Yaya says about being adaptable, is that you can really grow into the role as much as you are capable of and that you'd like to do. Like, you might start off, for example, with retention, if that's, your focus and everything. But as you grow within the business, within the community, you'll be able to be taking on more responsibilities or less, depending on how things go with that specific relationship and role. Many operators that I know, they'll start maybe just even being a copywriter. So they start off with one specific task, and then it's like, oh, I can also help you set up your email campaigns and all of the workflows and automations for that. And then, oh, I can, hire a couple buddies of mine to do it even more and better. And so it's slowly growing into a role where eventually, you have more responsibilities. You are doing just more tasks in general. And if that's something that you want to like do and grow in, then it's great because there's the sky's the limit essentially, and you can just skyrocket to the moon basically.
Hell yeah. All right. So do we have any questions before I move forward on what we're going to talk about? Just want to do a little check-in, a little head nod, a little shake of the head. Okay, no questions. Cool. Sounds good. Are you guys enjoying this so far? Hell yeah. I'm so sad that we can't see what Tamzid's reaction to that is. He's enjoying it. He said this was at the perfect time for him. So
Yeah.
hoping you're enjoying this. It's going to be my biggest regret tonight if you aren't, Tamzid. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so getting contracts. Now, today, we're not going to go into too much detail on how to get a contract. But basically what we're talking about here is how do you start working for a creator? How do you find them? How do you negotiate that contract to make sure you guys are both in a win-win situation? This is what we're going to talk about moving forward in the next few days, excuse me. I use that word too liberally. It's talking about, say, KPIs, which are key performance indicators, meaning if I get, say in Sierra's case, if an operator gets her 20 new clients a week, Sierra will give her, oh my God, Jesus, excuse me, give him, her, or them maybe an $1,000 bonus, or however you want to do it. Maybe for someone else, if they reach a MRR benchmark, you'll give them another bonus, or you'll double their salary, or whatever it is. That's kind of what we're going to get into moving forward. And then pairing, how pairing works inside Captivate and Goosify. Now, when you're an operator or you're a creator, one of you is looking for the other. And so on Skool, it's becoming a bigger and bigger platform. It's becoming harder and harder to find the people that you need to suit you. So with Goosify, we thought of this idea to pair these people together, to help them find each other and make sure that they can work well together by training the operator, letting them know how it works, and building a relationship with the creator so that they can trust us enough to pair the operator and the creator together. Because even if the operator finds the creator, there's that issue of, say, a beginner operator proving their case that they can be a good operator for that creator. So I want to scroll down a little bit, please, Santi. Just a little overview of what we're going to cover next up until Tuesday, I believe? Tuesday. So this is creating systems, SOPs. These are standard operating procedures. These are going to be documents on how to do certain things, say the step-by-step on how to create an Instagram post. As you build the team, you want to make sure everyone is able to be organized about how their communication is going to work. But also, there's a limit to how many SOPs you can make before there's an overwhelm. But we're going to get into that because it's a very, very underrated and important topic when it comes to operations, because people don't know where to start. Next, we're going to talk about hiring team members. So the first major people that you need in your team as an operator, like we said earlier, you're going to have to do a lot in the beginning. You're essentially an assistant to the creator. You're doing the social media. You're doing, say, you're taking all the feedback from customers and turning their feedback into, you're fixing whatever problems they have, say with your software, with your community, or maybe they found a mistake with something and you need to fix it. I could go on and on every day, but my brain is going to explode. So you want to hire team members like salespeople. You want to hire, give me one.
Did you just say salespeople?
Yeah.
Yeah. Content people, editors.
Content people, editors. We're going to talk about those first few hires that are really valuable to have in the beginning. We're going to talk about managing that team, how to make sure they're communicating, how to make sure that you're getting the best out of them and that they're getting the best out of their job and enjoying it and having fun and getting paid a ton of money. School Operating 101. This is how you apply all of these principles directly onto school. So we're going to be talking a little bit about theory, like we talked today about the different types of operators and how they work with different types of creators. We're going to go into real life examples. We're going to help you guys actually apply these examples in the real world on how to find these creators and how to negotiate them. We're going to put you on the spot. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. Now we're just kind of going to open it up to a general discussion, talking a little bit more about you guys and where you guys are at, what you guys are looking for. If you're more of a creator, if you're more of an operator. So any questions? So if you want to add anything to that.
I want to ask a quick question. I'm very much the creator. I also love to put myself in a place of applying for jobs that I don't need. Does staying on this call at this moment, will this help me understand the role of an operator well enough? Or should I just hop onto the later calls of finding an operator?
I think it's definitely still very important that you join these calls just so you can learn as much as possible.
I'm here already. Just wanted to
By the way, networking, guys, even if we don't pair you with someone, being on these calls and engaging and keeping your camera on means that you guys will build relationships with each other. And so relationships are going to make or break your situation on school. Even if you have the best skills in the world, nobody's going to know if they don't know who you are, right? Nobody's going to want to work with you if they're anxious about whether or not you're nice, right? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question for you. Yahya. Which one is good?
Either way.
Okay. Right now you're working for Goose, and I want to hear about how is your progress with your community going on? How you manage as a being operator and also being creator. Does that affect your progress?
I'm not. What do you mean by me being a creator?
With your community, I think you spend a lot of time with Captivate. I mean, doing all kind of stuff, like going on calls. So you have less time with your own stuff, like your
Right.
community,
Right.
maybe copywriting stuff.
Right. Great question. So I still have my community just so I don't get kicked out of Schoolers, but I'm not actually doing anything with it. If you notice, it says out of order on it. Yeah, I just unlocked everything. If somebody wants to look at the stuff that I taught in there, they totally can, but I'm full-time on Goosify. And I see, he said Captivate too. This is hard for both of us, David.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I would like to share something.
Yeah.
I'm a creator, and I've come to an idea that for me it would be either easier start operating someone's community because I have a lot of work in front of me, and maybe this could be also a good opportunity to work in for someone who has a much bigger community that is functioning, and maybe learn through operating what works and how to do this stuff.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of that. Can you repeat the first part? It started to get clear as you were talking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Worse. Wait, I don't know if you're blocking the mic or something, but we can't hear you properly.
He's bored.
Hello, write it into the chat.
Yeah, that might
Okay.
be better. Yeah, and
Yeah,
we'll get
sorry
to
about
that
again.
once it's written. Anyone else has any other questions while he is writing that down? I do want to add though, with what we'll be teaching, we mentioned all these different kinds of operators. This is going to be one a bit more focused on the like big bird's eye view of things in a way of like, okay, we're managing this stuff, creating SOPs and systems for this. And so it's a bit more of a managing role in a sense, of course, diving into how everything can expand and going into these extra areas a little bit. But that will be essentially the main focus. And then we'll look after that moving forward if we want to dive into, you know, more advanced topics or anything. Go ahead, Sierra.
I have another question. I got roped in to help someone revive their community,
Mhm.
and I'm doing essentially all the operations, and it's like with the promise of potential 20% of like what could come in later. I think I'm absolutely getting taken advantage of. Agreed? Completely scooped.
Yeah, don't do handshake agreements.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and also like and going back a bit to kind of the contract stuff in a sense, like every agreement is gonna look very, very different. You know, there's some who, you know, if it's maybe a bit more of a management position, depending on the responsibilities, it might just be, you know, a bit more of like a salary. But then there's others where if you're like spearheading pretty much the entire business on the coaching side, a percentage in that case makes a lot more sense. Generally, from what I've seen, 20 to 30% is what happens, but there are occasions where operators get more or less depending on the specific situation. For me,
Well, and 20% of zero is not worth talking about.
yeah, of course. And like when you do those as well, and this is like for percentage agreements, generally you'd like to take something up front and then have that percentage. People even do, you know, like a retainer and then a percentage on top. Again, this is like a bit more complex stuff. But like it also depends on the specific situation. Because for example, for my creator, when I met him and everything, I was super certain that we were going to crush. He has a great audience. He has a great niche and everything. And so just doing that percentage and trusting in the work and everything. And it was my first time doing it as well. And so we were able to get to that and it worked out great for both of us. But so it's you need a bit of a sense of being able to read those situations if you're out like looking for your own creator. But for the most part, and even just starting, I think starting, you know, with a bit more of a like management position, handling those operations and everything, is a bit like cleaner and straightforward. And so, yeah.
Cool. Does that answer your question, Sarah? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was reading your comment. That's a great idea. I actually recommend starting working for another community before you do your own. I think many people start on Skool because it's like advertised to be way easier for business. And yeah, it's a lot simpler, but it's still business. It's really, really hard. So you'd be better off learning from people that are better than you, and then applying that to your own situation. Obviously, it's your choice. I just recommend it personally. You can hire someone to operate your own if you have the money for that. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. Yeah, I think if you just keep joining these calls as we're continuing to do them, you'll start to figure out which way you want to go. And you can continue like checking in with us as you get more ideas of like you're leaning one way or another. And then we'll be able to help you there. Go ahead, David.
Does Appraiser do work outside of Skool community? Like how much of work they do? Let's say there's a problem with his lead system, like he's not getting any leads, and members in his community just inactive. So what's the job of Appraiser right now?
He's not getting leads and his members are inactive. Is that what you said?
Yeah, like his community kind of dead. Like how much of work Appraiser should do? I mean, he should he work on like in his YouTube ideas, maybe YouTube videos, or you know?
Yeah, you kind of framed that as a hypothetical, but it was so specific. I feel like you're talking about someone. So for that person, you'd probably want to sit down with that creator and discuss their strategy. You know, lay it out on like a big old timeline. What are we trying to accomplish, and what are we going to focus on? So say for YouTube or getting leads in general, like if they have a YouTube audience or they're just more inclined to use YouTube, you want to focus your priorities. You want like one priority for each thing. So like one priority on marketing, meaning like one platform and one way we're going to do it for the rest of like the next couple of months just to check the results, and then we'll pivot from there. You're going to want to focus on one thing for the community. We're going to do this strategy to ascend them or to fulfill on our promises or these calls or some way like that. Yeah, so just sitting down with the creator and developing that strategy is what you want to do. Developing the priorities.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sorry?
Sound good?
Yeah. Also, additional question for that, like when you said like operator's job is just save creator as much as time possible, right?
Mhm.
So maybe is it applies to
A little bit.
Yeah. My bad, y'all. I was sitting on my knees this whole time. Say that again.
so basically operator's job is saving creator as much as time possible, right? So is it applied to like making decisions? You know, maybe there's some kind of little decision, it doesn't make any, yes, it makes difference, but it's not a lot. So like does operator do make these decisions?
Decisions. So there are a lot of different ways to answer that question. There are a lot of different decisions to make in business.
Yeah.
The operator is the right-hand person to the creator, right? They're there for input and everything. At the end of the day, it's the creator's whole baby, so they make the final decision. But yeah, the operator is going to play a really big role in how, say, the strategy goes, and they're going to make a lot of the final decisions on like, say, like lower priority stuff. Say if you start expanding your team, and your team comes to you with all these different decisions, right? It's not going to go straight to the creator if the creator trusts the operator to make those decisions on behalf of them. But if it's like something super huge that can make or break the business, then the operator is going to ascend it to the creator and be like, hey, can you help me out here? But yeah, it's very common that the creator asks the operator for what they think on situation.
And as with everything, it's gonna vary so much in every situation. Like if you have more of a just like management role as an operator, then you might not be like super deep into like heavy decision making. But for example, in my case, again, like I'm essentially spearheading the entire business with my creator since he has his other business behind this. And so I essentially make almost all of the decisions regarding the communities and the coaching programs. I just like run them, point stuff by him and keep him in the loop. And he, you know, adds his input. And if there's anything specific he wants to see or anything, he'll let me know. But for the most part, it's like really independent. And so it's going to vary a lot based on the situation that you're in.
Yeah, based on what decision it is, up to how big the organization is. Like Sierra said, it can range from VA to COO, right? So like as you grow the business more and more, say when you're starting, your camera's like so tilted.
I know, but it's so we're both in there because
Okay, cool. So like when the business is super small, right, you're filling in all these little holes that the creator can't get to. So you're a lot more assistant, right? But as you get bigger and bigger with the team organization, you're delegating more and more tasks to people. And on the whole, your job is essentially just talking to people, right? Talking to your team and making decisions for them. Like you're basically just the liaison, the like ambassador for the creator to the team. Yeah. So does that make sense, David?
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks for answer. And also, what do you think? Like, is my English problem? Like, do you have any problems like understanding my questions? You know?
No, not at all. You can let us know if we like answered the question wrong or if we like got the wording wrong. But no, I think we've understood it pretty perfectly. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Doing good.
also, what's the COO stands for?
It stands for Chief Operating Officer.
All right.
My favorite suggestion though, if you guys saw my post in the community, was man, what was it? Chief of Oopsies or something like that. I loved that one. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mignon. Yes. So that's what it stands for. Again, it's essentially just the same term as operator, but it's what they use. Yeah, that's a second right there. That's funny. But like in a big corporation, people say COO because they want to sound sexy. So yeah. So yeah, we've got about 14 minutes left. I want to open it up to talking about like how this is going to go again. Like I know I talked about what we're going to cover, but as you may or may not have noticed, this is our first time doing this for the community. And so we want to build it with you. We don't want to just lecture you, which is why we're putting a focus on like discussions. And so we want to get your feedback on this. You guys are our guinea pigs. We want to know what you want to learn, how you want to learn it, what keeps you the most engaged, what you like, what you don't like, etc. I don't want to pick on anyone. Just shout it out. I know you guys have something.
I'm not sure if you hear me.
Sorry. It's just so funny that every time you talk, it's just your forehead. I can tell when you're about to talk because the camera gets closer. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, we heard you. We heard what you said. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Again, you
No,
can
go
you
ahead.
can you
Go
can
ahead.
type
I'm
it as
sorry.
well.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're such a bully.
I'm sorry. You could say it. We'll hear it.
I think he's
Okay,
typing
you're
it.
gonna type. Okay. While he's typing, does anyone have any? Oh, no trouble. Okay. I'm sorry, and
I do like the idea of connecting, training, and facilitating this. Like, there's people over here who want to know how and want to find work, and then there's people over here who need help, and then you're going to facilitate this. It's sort of like a matchmaking service, plus like tell them what shoes to wear so that they get the job, that kind of thing. I really think that I hope that it ends up being a great strategy and that it serves you all and that it serves the community at large. I think that's great. Putting Santi and Yaya, your brains together because you do this work, and then sharing language, ideas, tools, resources to not just have somebody be like, yeah, I know how school works because I do. I have 4 people who are like, hey, can you help me build my community? I was like, yeah, Goose charges 35 grand for this. I'm asking you for a cup of coffee. I somehow don't feel like this is a fair situation. Like, do I need another job helping people build school communities? If so, what should I be pricing that at? And or I could just say like, no, hire these people. And so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, love it.
of course, yeah. I really hope that we can continue to do what you were saying.
Yeah. And then what and how to operate, how to communicate with a client / build an offer. Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, anyone, Andres?
Yeah, quick question. When looking for a creator since you're basically, helping the creator and everything, it doesn't necessarily have to be in like the info product space, right? Like it can also be a content creator of like entertainment, or would you guys specifically work on content creators that, teach something?
Dude, we know so many people that want operators, like so many. So,
but like also outside like info product and everything like that.
It kind of depends on what you mean by info product. Like, so off of school, like what examples are you thinking of?
Like, for example, someone that has a community on school just like to connect with people or to have like their own community, compared to a creator that has their community because they are selling information. They have like the course, they teach, have a coaching program, for example. In my mind, I say, okay, obviously the coaching program and everything is a better offer, and I prefer working for him than for a content creator that does purely for entertainment. But I don't know what you guys would think of that.
Got you. Yeah. Oh, do you want to?
Yeah, I would say it depends on several factors. Like for me personally, when working with a creator and I want to like spearhead the whole thing and like make it something really big, and also in a way a money cow, like a cash cow, I would always focus on educational creators because like the niche, my creator is super small. Like the creator that I work with, he has less than 3K on Instagram, less than like 4K on YouTube. Like he's a small creator, but since he's so niche and it's in, you know, also it's money making, it's a money making niche. And so it's super easy to sell like, you know, high ticket programs to them. And so for me, I prefer going into that type of niche because it's so much easier for you, especially if you have an agreement where you're, you know, again, spearheading the whole thing and taking a percentage of that. Whereas if it's just, you know, a bit more of a management position and everything, then it's fine if it's a like, you know, entertainment creator and you're just, you know, getting your base pay and everything to manage it all and make sure that everything is running smoothly. But for the most part, and you'll see this a lot in school as well, like in general, education is always best. Like the type of people you get in the communities and everything tends to be a bit like, I wouldn't say like higher quality in terms of the people, but you know, their purpose for them being there tends to be higher. And so I would always recommend focusing on those like more educational creators. And as Yayo was saying, like the Goosify brand gets so many eyes on it, and you know, Goose is essentially like a celebrity at this point on the platform. And so whenever any, you know, big creators or anything are looking for an operator or something, a lot of them come to us as well. And so that's what led us to like start this of like, okay, we have a ton of creators and everything who need these operators. How can we help, you know, be a bridge to connect those two sides of things? And again, you know, depending on the creator and what their needs are, we'll make sure to pair, find someone who pairs well with the skill sets that they're looking for. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, perfect. And also just for some feedback, I think it would also be interesting if you guys could also teach basically how to identify like good creators. Like as you said that your creator has like very low followers on Instagram, but you did like a good launch or something like that compared to a creator that could have 100K on Instagram but has like a bad audience. So I think that would also help a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. That's a really great piece of feedback. Definitely looking out, and that kind of goes back to what Sierra was saying about like, you know, maybe getting 20% if they start making money. Like how to find those red flags, how to figure out if this is the right creator for you, or if they're trying to scam you or something like that. So really, thank you for suggesting that. And also back to your other question, just to kind of piggyback on what Santi said. It all kind of depends on what you want to do. Like he said, you know, it's your skill set, but also who you want to work with. If you want to make money, you probably don't want to work with somebody that's just entertainment and not trying to make money. You know, it's up to you, but in this, we're going to be primarily focusing on just like education or people. Like I said, we do know people. So if you want to connect with entertainment people, you just let us know. But we're trying to focus on making you guys money.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Karen, nice to see you here.
What's up, Karen?
Hello, Santi. Hello, guys. Nice to meet you all. Oh my God, I was too late. I was in some meetings regarding the school with the community. So I was like, no.
We're recording, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I just want to share that, I mean, these spaces are going to help a lot because in somehow I get into being a kind of a school creator operator because the CEO I'm working with, he was building the community either when we meet at Medellin, and he was planning to get like we need to build the community. So I think we launched it like next week, and I've been like learning from the community itself when they start joining, like low the friction. Now how we keep it, we keep them like connecting, interacting, and learning in that way. So what can because I'm a little bit confused. Sorry for this, I get late as well. What can be like the limits or like the operator is gonna take action into like what is the main role, like for example getting as well involved with the community, like connecting to them, or just like in the technical structure, like making sure like runs smoothly for the owner as well, like it's a to get that clarify a little bit.
Yeah, so and we've gone over this a bit on the call. You'll see in the recording, but it depends. Like the role that the operator takes is going to look different in every single situation, and so and it's the role as well. And a good operator is able to adapt to what the creator needs specifically for the offer. And so at the end of the day, for you, for example, as a creator, you want to look into what it is that you would need from an operator. And this can also be like focusing on taking away all those tasks that you might not want to do or that might not be your strong suits, and finding an operator that has those skill sets and you guys can complement each other in a way. So for example, if you love creating content and you love teaching, but then you hate, building a funnel for it, and you hate, moderating the community and all of this, the idea would be to find an operator that's able to take the lead in those areas that you might not enjoy as much, and to take off that time so that you can focus more on doing what you enjoy, and they can focus on what they enjoy, hopefully, and are able to help with that growth as well. And so, it depends. And also, if you're just starting out and you just have an operator, they themselves can take care of those roles, but maybe as they expand, your operator would be the one, managing the person who is solely in charge of moderating the community, or taking care of the person who is solely in charge of getting all the content together, whatever the situation may be. But that will be, with time, as the team grows, as the community grows. But for starting off, that's what maybe I would look for. And so I'd like maybe even make a list of like, okay, this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I don't enjoy doing, or that I don't feel like I'm so good at, and then trying to find an operator that kind of complements those skills. And yeah.
Nicolas, real quick, Nick, what is the main job of the operator? Pop quiz.
Yeah, well, in this case, like for me, it's like to keep like everything like moving, like get the people like checking it like all the time, like school, because we keep updating like the info, the courses, the classes. I mean, the good thing, and I think what point that we have is like we have like everyday online classes, because we teach how to use a platform for e-commerce.
Yeah.
So it's like that is attractive, and I just keep them engaged, like surprises, like you were at this session, so go and check school because I have a surprise for you. So like we play with that, with those roles, and I'm just like looking for that. Then the like the teachers that do the classes, I like, hey, are you gonna do this? What are you gonna do? So we can be like aligned with the strategy at school. But yes, my main focus is like in school and getting that involved. At the time, I'm enjoying that. The community is growing. Sometimes it's like overwhelming, like everyone texting me, and I'm like, oh my god. But it's going well.
That's a good problem to
Yeah.
have, for sure. Dennis, you are so late, man. What is this? Call's already over. Okay, Nicolas.
Meeting.
Oh, got you. Nicolas, real quick. What is the main job of the operator?
The main job of the operator is to manage the behind the scenes operations of the business, so the operator can focus on what they do best and on what they want to do, that is basically creating content, and to free the time from the creator, basically.
Yeah. Save the creator as much time possible. That's the answer I want to hear. But that was also a really good one. That's
Okay.
So Karen, if you want to keep that as your note, we're going to keep quizzing you guys. The answer to what an operator does is they save the creator as much time as possible.
Got it.
Perfect. Well,
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Do we have any last minute quick questions? If not, we're going to end it here.
Yeah, what did y'all talk about?
All right. See y'all later. We have a recording. You can
yeah,
watch
the
it.
Bye-bye.
recording will be up.
Thank you.
Hi,
And
Karen.
so,
Thank you
yeah,
guys for
you
joining.
guys take care. See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
It'll
Take
be-
care. Bye bye.
We'll make a
Yeah.
post. We'll make a classroom. You'll see it times it.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Peace out, guys.